Hi guys, I hope everyone's having a really good weekend. I wanted to continue my library shelf tour. So far I've done these two shelves in total, including what's behind the little filing cabinet there, and you've already seen these. So I'm just going to start working my way across the wall. This is the end of history. Not in the Francis Fukuyama sense, but the end of my history section. It's in somewhere around the top shelf here, and then we go into philosophy, which is kind of in alphabetical order by philosopher's last name, but some of that's gotten a little bit mixed around. So we'll finish off history here. First we have The Decline of American Power by Emanuel Wallerstein. Let me make sure that gets back in there properly. Then we have After Liberalism by Emanuel Wallerstein. Emanuel Wallerstein's World Systems Analysis. Emanuel Wallerstein's Unthinking Social Science. Max Weber's Economy and Society. Max Weber's Sociology of Religion. Max Weber's Political Writings, Max Weber's The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, Alison Weir's The War of the Roses, Mr. Adams's Last Crusade, John Quincy Adams's Extraordinary Post-Presidential Life in Congress by Joseph Whelan, The Habsburgs, Embodying Empire by Andrew Wheatcroft, Vital Nourishment, Departing from Happiness by François Julien, God's Funeral by Ann Wilson, Rogue Messiahs by Colin Wilson, A History of the Wife by Marilyn Yalom, After the Victorians by A.N. Wilson, 2 volumes of A History of Private Life. This is Revelations of the Medieval World. This is a series edited by Philippe Ariz and Georges Duby. That's volume 2, and then volume 1 is From Pagan Rome to Byzantium. And here's kind of where the philosophy starts, but obviously you can tell it quite isn't all in alphabetical order. This is Fear and Trembling in the book on Adler by Soren Kierkegaard. Early Greek Philosophy. Adorno's Critical Models. Profanations by Giorgio Agamben. A History of Ideas on Women, which is a source book. And then I have some books here to sort of keep them all in place. They're laying on their sides, but I'll show them to you. This is Aquinas' Shorter Summa. Aquinas on Ethics and Politics. Cosmopolitanism by Kwame Anthony Appiah. Critiques of God, Making the Case Against Belief in God, a collection edited by Peter Angelus. Classics of Analytic Philosophy, a whole lot of analytic philosophers, Moore, Quine, Russell, Ryle, Strawson, Ayer, Austin, etc. Over on one of the first 2 shelves, you saw volume 2 of Paul Tillich's Systematic Theology. This is volume 1. The religion book, I don't really know why this is here. Why Christianity Must Change or Die by Bishop Spong. A little bit of philosophy too. Marxism and Politics by Ralph Miliband. This is the 3-volume Main Currents of Marxism by Leszek Kolakowski, which is a superb book and sort of traces all of the historical currents of Marxism and where it came from. Martha Nussbaum's The Therapy of Desire, Theory and Practice in Hellenistic Ethics. Aladdin's Lamp, How Greek Science Came to Europe Through the Islamic World by John Freely. And last for this row, Who's Who in Early Medieval England by Christopher Tierman. Okay, let's start with the next row. This is The Human Condition by Hannah Arendt. I have quite a bit of Hannah Arendt. On Revolution by Hannah Arendt. The Promise of Politics by Hannah Arendt. Hannah Arendt and the Limits of Philosophy, which is not by Hannah Arendt, but by Lisa Jane Dish. Eichmann in Jerusalem by Hannah Arendt. The Life of the Mind by Hannah Arendt. Responsibility and Judgment by Hannah Arendt. Essays in Understanding by Hannah Arendt. And Between Past and Future by Hannah Arendt. And The Origins of Totalitarianism by Hannah Arendt. I have some books from when I was first introducing myself to philosophy. This is Introducing Aristotle. You'll see more of those later. Aristotle's Politics. A very old-looking, you can see what it says there, Catholic dictionary. Palgrave book on posthumanism. J.L. Austin's How to Do Things with Words. Truth in Ideology by Hans Barth. Volume 1 of The Accursed Share by Georges Bataille. On Nietzsche by Georges Bataille. The Theory of Religion by Georges Bataille. A short volume of some of Francis Bacon's essays. What's Left of Enlightenment, which is a series of essays on the Enlightenment edited by Keith Michael Baker and Peter Hans Riehl. William Barrett's A Rational Man. I'm not going to take this out because it barely fits in there in the first place, and I'd spend 5 more minutes getting it in. It's the Arkady's Project by Walter Benjamine. This is the work of art in the age of its technological reproducibility and other writings on media, also by Walter Benjamin, and Benjamin's Reflections. Creative Evolution by Henri Bergson. Conversations with Isaiah Berlin. George Berkeley's Three Dialogues Between Hylas and Philinus. George Berkeley's A Treatise Concerning the Principles of Human Knowledge. Isaiah Berlin's Three Critics of the Enlightenment, Vico, Hamann, and Herder. 4 Essays on Liberty by Isaiah Berlin. Concepts and Categories by Isaiah Berlin. Postmodern Theory by Stephen Best and Douglas Kellner. The Intelligence of Evil or the Lucidity Pact by Jean Baudrillard. Life, Death, and Meaning, Key Philosophical Readings on the Big Questions. One of whose contributors is one of my former professors. You can see right there Stephen Looper under L. He teaches at Trinity University and taught me bioethics and a couple of other things. Arthur Schopenhauer's The World as Will and Representation, Volume 1. A. Long's wonderful Oxford-issued sort of intellectual biography of Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher. And Alistair Hannay's biography of Kierkegaard. We'll do one more shelf down here. This is Sissela Bach's Lying. Philosophy in a Time of Terror, Dialogues with Jürgen Habermas and Jacques Derrida. Religion and the Enlightenment, From Descartes to Kant, by James Byrne. Bisexuality in the Ancient World, by Eva Cantarella. An Introduction to the Philosophy of Science, by Rudolf Carnap. The Philosophy of Art, by Noel Carroll. Ernst Castrer's An Essay on Man. Ernst Castrer's The Myth of the State. Themes Out of School, Effects and Causes, by Stanley Cavell. The Senses of Walden, by Stanley Cavell. Emerson's Transcendental Etudes, by Stanley Cavell. Stanley Cavell's Must We Mean What We Say. Chomsky's On Nature and Language, another introducing book, introducing Chomsky. One of my favorite sort of eccentric, idiosyncratic philosophers, E.M. Cioran, The Temptation to Exist. Cicero's On Moral Ends. Cicero's On the Emotions. Cicero's On the Nature of the Gods. Cicero's Selected Works. Some more Cioran, E.M. Cioran's History and Utopia. Cioran's On the Height of Despair. And Cioran's A Short History of Decay. And then we have 2 volumes of an Encyclopedia of Philosophy. I think I have the other 2 in my bedroom, but I'm not sure. Let me move these to the side. Collingwood's The Idea of History. And let's see, I have volume 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7 of, and I have 1 or 2 others lying around here somewhere. This is Copplestone's History of Philosophy, which is a history of Western philosophy from Socrates through the 20th century. The Age of Analysis. This wonderful thick edition of A Philosophy of Science, The Central Issues, edited by Martin Curd and J.A. Cover. Consciousness Explained, by Daniel Dennett. Darwin's Dangerous Idea, Evolution, and the Meanings of Life, by Daniel Dennett. Freedom Evolves, by Daniel Dennett. And Aporias, by Jacques Derrida. I'll stop this one here, and then I'll go on to the next shelf.